I have an Echo Dot in the room next to me. I don't know why it's still here, because it's listening to everything we're saying to put out its own version of Movie Smash.
Like, you gotta be more careful than this. Like, you just yelled out you were Batman at the circus.
I am the Batman.
I'm Batman.
Are you saying that doesn't work? That could explain my early dating life.
Hello and welcome to Movie Smash!
Hello and welcome to Movie Smash, show where we dive headfirst into comic book movies. If you're new to the show, thanks for joining us. If you've been here before, you know the drill. Each episode, we're going to smash a movie whose source materials from a graphic novel or a comic. Is it worth revisiting? Should be forgotten? Let's find out. This is Movie Smash. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Roberts, the founder of All Panel Creations. With me today are the Jim Carrey to my Tommy Lee Jones, Jeremy Parmentier.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Parmentier, also the Retrovaniacs podcast, and I have 7 different uniforms with question marks all over them.
Our guests tonight, once again, are the great hosts from Rewind Rewatch, Andrene and Joel. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be back.
And I'm surprised you guys came back. I mean, it's been a year and you didn't write, you didn't call.
I don't know if you know this, but we recently had our 100th episode, which we basically didn't cover a movie and just had listeners give us questions. We gave out awards. It was a whole thing. But one of the comments that we got was, when are you guys going to do another episode with Movie Smash? So this is actually what the people want, and we have to give the people what they want.
I think that was my comment.
I was going to say that was probably Chris's question, and that's very nice.
No, it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't. I actually want to give a shout out to Ben. Ben is one of our dual listeners, listens to both of us, and he not only wanted us to meet up with you guys, he wanted us to cover this movie.
Yeah, Ben is fantastic. He writes into us all the time. So, Ben, if you're listening, well, I hope you are, because that means if you're not, you've quit, and that's sad. But our movie tonight, Ben, thanks to you, is 1995's Batman Forever, starring Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, directed by the wonderful, great Joel Schumacher.
Your entrance was good. His was better.
Love is a game.
What is it about the wrong kind of man?
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car. Power is a machine.
Now you've devised a way to read men's minds.
By the way, I've seen your mind, freak.
And revenge is a trap.
You're a genius.
Riddler and Two-Face can make a pretty lethal combination. Train me, let me be your partner.
Who's your tailor?
So I normally ask you guys, why would you pick this movie? But I think we know the answer.
Ben twisted our arm.
And the last time we were on, we covered Batman and Robin. So it made sense to just keep the Batman theme going, and specifically the least entertaining Batman films. That's really the alleyway that we're going down. We don't want any of the good ones. We're only focused on these ones from the mid to late 90s.
And so next year, we're going to go even further back. We're just going backwards in time as well. We're going to get older and older Batman.
But older and older, they get better and better, in my opinion.
If we want to go to 60s Batman, then we can go full camp and go into the one where they're zapping people and turning them into little piles of powder.
Yeah, that's
You missed it. We've covered the 66 Batman. We've also covered the Christmas one, Batman Returns. So you will have to go all the way to the original Batman.
We did Batman Returns as well on our show, so...
Man, if you did Batman Returns already, it's all downhill from Batman Returns. So, although it's all uphill from Batman and Robin. So this is a good kind of connection.
I mean, you can always do like the Batman serials or something, but that is not our movie today. Question for you guys. I already know the answer to this, but I assume everyone's familiar with Batman.
Oh, yes, of course. How can you not be?
But was this the first time you saw Batman Forever?
Not for me. I don't know about Joel.
No. I've seen it before. I haven't seen it in a long time. So this was my first time watching it in at least 15 years. Like, it's been a while since I watched this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this a few times. I know I saw it in the theater when it was new, and I'll share my thoughts on what I remember from that later on. But I did see this one several times. But again, it's probably been 5-10 years since I've even seen a bit of it.
Yeah, and for me, I don't think I've seen this since I saw it in the theaters. I can't remember seeing it, and rewatching now, I probably remember why I didn't see it. Jeremy, do you have any, like a half second, who is Batman?
Yeah, it's Batman. If you've listened to this podcast, we've already covered like 3 or 4 other Batman movies. If not, I can't fathom you don't know who Batman is. So listen to the Batman Robin episode. It's a good way to also get reintroduced to the hosts of Rewind Rewatch, other than their own podcast. But it's Batman. I'm not going to get into any more than that. It's Batman.
So, quick spoiler warning. If this is your first time joining us, just a quick heads up. We're going to be discussing certain elements of the story that might be considered spoilers for what is actually Drew Barrymore's highest second-grossing film of all time. So consider yourself warned.
Wow.
What's the first highest grossing? Is it E.T.?
Actually, it is E.T., you're right.
There we go. I was going to guess that or The Wedding Singer. I wasn't sure which one it was. Never Been Kissed. Big box office hit.
Speaking of The Wedding Singer, we actually just recently released that on our podcast like 2 weeks ago.
I still think that movie is fairly funny and holds up okay, but I've seen it a lot, so it's hard to go back and watch that with an open mind.
Well, I haven't read the comic yet, so we can't see it. So either you want to go over what this movie is about?
Yeah, I'll take a crack at it. So this movie is about Two-Face, formerly Harvey Dent, is actively trying to evade and eventually kill Batman. And in the process of his plans constantly being foiled by the Batman, he is teamed up with the Riddler, who is using Two-Face's tension with Batman for his own selfish gain to utilize this brain-sucking 3D television machine. And then in the midst of that whole conflict, we're also introduced to Dick Grayson, who discovers the Batcave and makes himself basically into Robin without Batman's permission, so to speak.
You forgot one part.
Oh, what did I forget?
All whilst Dr. Chase Meridian tries to get in Batman's drawers.
Oh, yes. She's definitely trying to get in the Batsuit from the opening scene, pretty
I was
much.
going to say, from moment one, that's her only goal.
As the kids would say, she's quite thirsty.
No, she's going for it so hard that I'm just like, wait a second, what is happening here? And even the way that they shoot the Meridian scenes is very much like she's got like the classic red lipstick and the hair is blowing behind her, and they've got like, that the spotlight that's just hitting her just right on the side of the face, and it feels very comic bookish. It's just like, this is the, in all caps, hot girl. Oh, by the way, she also happens to be a psychologist. But like, really, her purpose is just hot girl that Batman's gonna sleep with.
What's interesting about it is Nicole Kidman, when she took the role, during the interview, she was asked, what do people think about it? And all her friends told her not to take the role. And she said the only reason she took it was she gets to kiss Batman. So she was thirsty from the very beginning.
That's also why Tommy Lee Jones took the movie.
Well, that explains quite a bit.
Well, I will say this, though. Speaking of Tommy Lee Jones, I remember very little from this movie, like I said earlier. The only thing I did remember was them putting that little like plunger brain thing on each other's heads and sucking IQ juice from the inhabitants of Gotham. But I will say that Tommy Lee and Jim Carrey was probably like the most enjoyable part of this film. Like, I really did like seeing them just goof around. Jim Carrey gets to do Jim Carrey things. The Riddler is basically a character that's perfect for all the things that he likes to do anyway. And Tommy Lee Jones like commits to this goofy Two-Face, which I actually really enjoyed.
I had a question about that whole Two-Face character that I thought maybe Jeremy can provide some insight with.
Sure.
Since he's like the comic guy, So for me, it's like I was kind of unclear as to what his motivation was as to why he hates Batman so much, because we understand that the reason why the acid even is messed up half of his face is because Maroni, the big, mob boss, is the guy who ends up throwing the acid on his face when Harvey was acting as a DA in open court. So in my mind, I'm just like, if you're supposed to be the guy that's about law and order, what is it that you have against Batman? Like, I was having a really hard time connecting with his motivation.
They explain it in the movie with like a throwaway sentence where, along with damaging his face, it caused him brain damage. And because Batman was in the courtroom trying to stop it but failed, and he's blended all these things together where he believes Batman is responsible for this acid hitting him and burning his face. It's very badly explained, but in a comic book movie, it kind of works as an explanation. It's, Harvey Dent is a character in all the different Batman iterations where, you get to see that transformation somehow. He's on the side of law and order. I don't want to say he's Batman's friend, but he respects what Batman does. Some iterations are not into the vigilante part of Batman or not, but they still they're on the side of law. So Batman is trying to make sure this DA is protected and is helping Gotham move forward. He really always comes across someone who cares about Gotham. You don't get any of that buildup in this movie because it starts with him being already Two-Face, and the only way you get any of the background was those kind of flashback scenes. They have him on the TV at one point where they're showing why Two-Face has become that. But because of that, everyone knows who he is. It's not like the Joker or even the Riddler where no one knows who this person is. They just showed up out of nowhere. They know Two-Face is former DA Harvey Dent. They call him Harvey Dent. They don't call him Two-Face for the most part. So but the reason why he hates Batman in this movie specifically is because the brain damage from the acid has blended his memories together to where he thinks Batman is responsible, at the very least, for not saving him, but also could maybe even help cause the accident.
Got it.
Yeah, they could have done flashbacks to the first movie for Harvey Dent. Why didn't that work out?
It's a slightly different character with a different complexion. It would have been harder to make that work out.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I think the other thing, too, and the way I didn't remember any of what Jeremy just said. So I kind of just justified it in my own mind as, this is a guy who, after this thing happens to him, he basically gives up on trying to make things happen and says, everything is just chance. Everything's just luck. I'm going to flip a coin, and that's going to be how I decide everything in life. And as a result of that is also going around committing wild crimes, robbing people blind, and just oh, well, I had shit luck and now everybody else has to get it too. And Batman's always getting in the way of that. So to me, that was the real reason he wanted him dead is I want to just do what I want. And Batman is still trying to create some level of order in a town and city where there is no order anywhere else. And he says the random toss is the only true justice, which is the very opposite of what Batman represents. So he would probably hate him regardless.
I think that's really what it is Two-Face is just frustrated that Batman, at this point, his career, I guess, his criminal career, keeps thwarting everything he does. And also the flipping the coin, aren't there scenes where he's flipping the coin over and over and over until he gets the result he wants?
Exactly, yes.
He's breaking his own rules.
It's like when your kids ask you the same question 17 times. On the off chance you'll make a different answer. It's what he's doing with the coin. Same thing.
He's basically just a funny version of the bad guy from No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Because in that movie, he very much used the same coin flip, to see if he's going to kill somebody or not. What do you say, friendo?
Yeah, friendo.
Friendo.
Call
that
it.
Was his phrase. Call it friendo. Yep.
See, I wasn't a big fan of his portrayal of Two-Face just because I thought it was a little too chaotic, but because Two-Face, at least for me, I grew up with the Two-Face from the animated series. He was more of a mob boss. He was more collected and basically the order around you could fall apart at any moment he flips a coin. This scene, Tommy Lee Jones played this guy as a complete madman.
I think that also makes the scenes with the Riddler make more sense. If he was just if he was the Penguin or something like that, I don't know that it would have had the same interplay of just he's a lunatic and the Riddler is kind of a mad scientist who's somehow snapped because his project won't be greenlit. Is all right. Was he always crazy, or was he only crazy because Bruce Wayne didn't want to go through with his project?
I think Enigma was always crazy. He's always it's that scientist that's always on the edge, pushing the limit. He had no morals. I mean, he basically attacked his boss.
Yeah, he seemed to always be on edge, but he always thought if I work for Wayne Corp or whatever, and he'll see this invention and I'll be famous for this thing I built, which was, I mean, obviously it's not realistic, but it was a pretty impressive invention for what it does. But then not only is it because he gets it shut down, he gets it shut down not because Wayne immediately is no, this is terrible, I want to shut it down. It's that he's too pushy. His own ego won't let him wait and make a meeting and talk to them and do things the regular slow way. He's no, well, I need an answer right now. He's well, then the answer is no. That was it. It was you had your window and you ruined it. But that also, I'm sure, pushed him over the edge. But he already seemed like he was on the edge of making bad decisions. And that just, I think also, and they don't really state it, but as soon as he starts using the helmet and turning the power up, it seems to make him a little more uneven, a little more on edge. And the more he uses it, the more insane he seems to get. So I don't know if that's also necessarily what happened, but that's how I took it, was that he was already on edge. And then the helmet, with him increasing the power and those original tests with his boss, kind of helped snap whatever little bit of humanity was left there.
It's interesting to talk about sort of the play between the Riddler and Two-Face because the actors themselves supposedly hated each other on set.
Really?
Yeah, they couldn't stand each other. Jim Carrey was in an interview and he was saying how he didn't not just get along with Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones said that he hated Jim Carrey.
That's fantastic.
Jim Carrey had several theories as to why this happened, but the biggest one he said was because the movie Dumb and Dumber came out in 1994, the same weekend as Tommy Lee Jones's movie Cobb, and Cobb was supposed to be Tommy Lee Jones's sort of Oscar nomination film, but it got crushed at the box office because everyone loves Dumb and Dumber.
I never even heard of that. Is it
Same.
about Ty Cobb?
Yes.
All right, there you go.
And also Jim Carrey hit him with the cane a few times as he was practicing.
Well, they kept it professional, I guess, because I couldn't tell by watching them. But yeah, I think we've seen a few Tommy Lee Jones movies on our podcast. I know we did The Fugitive and
Men in Black.
Men in Black. Yes, that's right. That's right. So this is just like a completely different version of whatever you think Tommy Lee Jones is. Like he's just like this crazy guy with half of his face is purple. I particularly love how in this cartoonish version, and this is the same kind of version of Two-Face that we get from like the animated series, where not only is his face split, but all of his outfits are split. It's like he's doing one of those like vaudeville acts where you like turn to one side and you're a woman, and then you turn to the other side and you're a man. It's like and then even his home is decorated in half. So he really committed to the whole Two-Face of it all.
You got to commit to the bit. You really do.
He smokes 2 cigarettes out of one side of each mouth. One's like a clean cigarette, and the other's like one of those old style ones that has the holder for it. And at one point, he's drinking 2 different colored glasses of wine for his. Like he really lays into it, and it's goofy, but it works. Chris, I remember when we were going to watch this, I was like, oh man, Tommy Lee Jones in this is so like over the top and terrible. But I disagreed this time. I mean, he's over the top and it's goofy, but it's not nearly as obnoxious as I remember it being. And I actually think it's not as bad as like. But if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, was Tommy Lee Jones terrible as Two-Face, I would have said yes, 100%. I actually didn't think he was that bad as Two-Face. It's different. It's different than the cartoon. It's different than the later Batman Two-Face, which is a great Two-Face, but it's much more serious. This is a fun, cartoony, comic booky, almost 60s feel, like that kind of over the top. Everyone's like making laughing noises constantly all the time. Like I liked it, but he's definitely over the top, but not as much as I recall.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to why this feels more cartoony. But the other thing he splits up is also his girlfriend.
Yes.
He's got Sugar and Spice.
Everything nice.
For me personally, the thing was, I did not know that's what their names were. I thought they were Leather and Lace for the longest time. And I actually found an article where saying that is a common misconception. Their names are Leather and Lace, not Sugar and Spice, because they never say the names in the movie.
That's funny. I mean, Leather and Lace would have made sense because I feel like that's what they wore the entire film.
No, bad on me for judging somebody by what they wear.
I just called it Angel and Demon, so maybe I'm worse off than you, Chris.
Very much that feel.
I mean, never judge a book by their bustier. But I think the other thing that you talk about is like the over the topness of it. And one of the things that I was noticing as I'm watching it is like this movie came before Batman and Robin. And one of the things that we talked about in the Batman and Robin episode is like how over the top it was, where it almost like went over the edge. I felt like this movie towed the edge, but it wasn't like so over the top. And I'm wondering why you guys think they like leaned into it so much further in the second movie, because it felt unnecessary, especially watching Batman Forever. I'm like, oh, this is like a way more well-made movie. I mean, it's still cheesy and campy in a lot of ways, but it's not like they're just like making a joke out of themselves, which is what I felt like Batman and Robin were doing. And I'm wondering why they would have like pushed it so far in the next movie. So
for this movie, it's sort of learning the wrong lessons. The Batman Returns, parents hated it, right? No, Jeremy, we talked about this the last time we covered that movie. They had a deal with McDonald's, and McDonald's pulled their toys because of how grotesque the Penguin was. They thought it's not child-friendly.
You bit a guy's nose off.
Yeah, exactly.
He's disgusting.
And you had Tim Burton was originally going to direct this movie, and McDonald's says, we will not do anything with you if Tim Burton is the director. And that's why he became producer. He got demoted. And Joel Schumacher came in to take over, and I was going to get to it later on, but he actually made a very dark version of this movie. And the studio said, no, it's got to be cartoony. It's got to be light. It's got to be fun. We need to sell toys. And then what happened was, because it's the third one of a series, tons of people went to go out and see it. It had an amazing run, and it made a ton of money. So the studio came out saying, hey, look, it worked. We made it cartoony. People loved it. Well, they say they loved it. They didn't. It got a 5 out of 10 is its rating. But they made a ton of money. That's all that matters. So they said, we're going to lean even more into that. Joel, sell more of your soul. Let's go make this even crazier.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, going back to the Penguin for a second in that movie, not only was he filthy, he was absolutely vile. Because at one point, I remember he's looking for Catwoman, and he's like, just the pussy I've been looking for. And I was like, what is the rating of this film? Like,
G.
Yeah, it was pretty much.
It's the 90s.
I was like, good Lord. All right. I want to know what you guys thought about Val Kilmer as the Batman, because for me, I feel like in this particular movie, they really did a good job of making Batman self-aware and like looking into himself as to why he's even doing this at all. They do flashbacks to the death of his parents. And I feel like when looking at the Clooney's version, I did not care for him at all. That Batman was just way too campy. Whereas this one, I feel like had a lot of depth. And I was wondering why Val Kilmer, if we know why he didn't do the next film, or if they just didn't ask him back.
So Joel Schumacher said that Val Kilmer did him 2 major favors in his life. 1 was saying yes to doing this movie, and 2 was saying no to the next one.
Okay.
At the same time, Val Kilmer was notorious for being difficult to work with. So, I mean, maybe he was great on this. I have no idea. But there were lots of other movies and other directors who were like, I will never work with him again. He's too much. So maybe he also just rubbed some people the wrong way. So I remember when I first saw this that I thought he was fine. I was like, oh yeah, he's much better Bruce Wayne than Michael Keaton was in my mind. Like, he looks more like what you'd think of by Bruce Wayne. I don't agree with that now. This is what I remember from the time. Watching again now, I think that the Michael Keaton Batman the Bruce Wayne has a lot more to do, but they're better movies. They're written better. They give you more character. This is not bad for being a movie where everything you get is by flashback. And it's really like him accepting Robin is the big jump he has to make. Yeah, it's finding love again or whatever, but that's not really like, that happens in every movie where he finds a love interest of some sort. But the Robin is kind of the only real character development we see with the Val Kilmer Bruce Wayne. And I think he's okay for that, because those scenes are actually not bad, where he's saying like, you can't, I won't let you turn into me, like we're the same person. They're a little stiff, but they work. I think his Batman is okay. Like, the Batman in this movie doesn't have as much to do, I think, as in some of the other Batman movies. This is about the villains.
True. Yeah.
And the Batman in this is just there to foil the villains and kind of, he solves the movie. He finishes out what needs to happen, but he's not the interesting character here. Bruce is interesting, and then Two-Face and the Riddler are interesting, and Robin to some level is interesting. But Batman's just a known quantity. Like, once you see him out with the costume on, he's there. He's going to kick butt. When Robin steals the car and runs off, he just shows up in the costume. You're like, well, this is over. Batman's here. It's done. And it's exactly what happens. There's not any drama there outside of him getting mad at Robin, but it's not like, oh, we're going to gang up on Batman. There's like 30 or 40 gang members. They're like, no, it's Batman, run. So I don't think he was a terrible Batman. I think he was an okay Bruce Wayne, but I just don't think the movie gave him as much to work with as they did Michael Keaton in the first 2.
Now, this gang that you speak of, it seems like they're kind of in that same like graffiti neon alley that we see in Batman and Robin, right? And I'm wondering, like, who exactly are these people?
The first thought I thought was Jeremy loving his gangs.
This gang, there's just one, though. It's not as many. Last time they had like a motorcycle gang and all these other guys. This was just one gang where everything's black lights. And it's okay. It's fine. It's a street gang. It works. But it's not as cool as the gangs, which is the highlight of Batman and Robin. This was just an okay gang.
I love how the very first thing he does when he steals the Batmobile is try to pick up chicks.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to judge these women, but they seemed very willing to be picked up, if you catch my drift.
Wasn't that in Vogue?
Was it?
Yes, I think it was in Vogue as a making a cameo.
I did not know that. Oh, wow. That's
no
amazing.
Way.
Oh, that makes it even funnier. That's great. The other thing is that when he gets cornered by this Neon Alley gang, all of a sudden he's like knows how to fight and do karate, and I'm like, to this point, the only karate that we've seen him practice is on his laundry when he's
Oh my God.
doing some sort of taekwondo routine to hang his shirts up on the clothesline.
And there's a dryer right there.
I was going to say, made no sense.
He's like, it's not laundry if you don't have to mop at the end.
Yeah.
Real fast, so I want to go back to Batman and Val Kilmer. I don't necessarily feel bad for Val Kilmer taking this role because I was reading about how he, after Keaton said no and they went through everybody else, they called up Val Kilmer up. He was actually exploring a Batcave at the time. And they call him up and say, hey, do you want to be Batman? So he says yes, sight unseen, did not look at the script, just said, oh, I can be Batman? Let's do it.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. I don't know if I'm turning down a chance to be Batman either.
Yeah, no. After the first two did so well, you're like, wait a minute, you want me to be Batman? Sure. I don't care what the script is.
Yeah,
What's the
let's go.
paycheck? What am I getting paid for this job?
Far less than what Keaton wanted. I think Keaton wanted like $15 million or something. Well, how do you think about how Jim Carrey did as the Riddler?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it
great
was
for him.
I thought it was 90s Jim Carrey just doing all of his things, all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The physical humor, which is kind of was like his trademark at the time. Like this allowed him the space to just kind of do his thing within a world that was already very familiar to the audience. So I enjoyed it.
It was The Mask.
It was. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely The Mask. I wish that the script had provided more like riddles for us to solve because I felt like I was getting into it, but then it was like the answers were, the first one was way too easy. I was like, okay, great. And then with Match, they solved that within 2 seconds. And I like the idea of Riddler leaving a clue for us to try to figure out. And we didn't get too much of that. So I was kind of disappointed.
Well, Batman always figures out the Riddler's clues like immediately. And if he doesn't, then
Robin does.
Like it's never like something that they're stumped over for a week. Like they always figure it out like pretty much as soon as they see the clue.
And it's like the riddles from like the Sunday paper. I love Jim Carrey in this role. He really feels like it was made for him. For me, actually, there's a scene. We talk about how Jim Carrey's. He's got. I feel like he has extra muscles in his face or something because a man can make an amazing array of faces. At the end, where he gets his brain fried, I was actually looking at him trying to figure out if that was a mask or prosthetics or that was his actual face because I could believe it either direction.
I thought it was prosthetics.
They definitely like shortened his eyebrows and like did a few things to his hat, like disappeared or got small or something where like his whole face looked.
Yeah, it's angled weird, and there's like I don't know if there's supposed to be veins, but there's like big white streaks throughout his face and stuff where it's like his skin's almost translucent. So there's definitely, it's not just his face, but it does look. That's what I remembered is like kind of creepy actually. Of all the things in the movie, like that's the thing where it's like, oh man, that scene, does it look as creepy as I remember? And it's up there.
I think Riddler's storyline though does a really good job of explaining and showing us how dumb humans are. Because you think you have this person who's like, oh yeah, put this box in your house and you all can just like connect it to your head and you all can watch whatever you want on this box. And no one besides Bruce Wayne actually questions this and says, okay, if you're able to see what people want and display that for them, what's to stop you from taking things out of their brain? No one bats an eye. They just plug it up and that's it.
I mean, you know what's funny about that is I was thinking to myself, like, how difficult do you think it would be for Enigma's 3D box to become wildly popular right now? Like, if this came out tomorrow, do you think people would hesitate to buy it? If you're like, yo, you can watch TV and it's going to be 3D, but you just got to strap this thing to your head. And they'd be, like, do you think it would be like, I don't know if I trust this? Or do you think it would be wildly popular?
I think it would be wildly popular, especially the second iteration where everyone has like full body like experiences where they're like at the beach and the water's falling on them and stuff. Like people would, I have 2 Oculuses in my house because my children think it's the coolest thing they've ever seen. They don't care that it records everything you're doing and sends it to Amazon. I have an Echo Dot in the room next to me. I don't know why it's still here because it's listening to everything we're saying to put out its own version of Movie Smash. And so we have these things in our house now we don't even think about it. Smart TVs take constant photographs of what's on your television and send it back for advertisers. Like this is all stuff we just accept as normal. So no, today if it came out, people are like, oh, wait, you're going to steal my memories? Can I pick the ones you take? Because I'd love to forget a lot of things. It'd be great if you could remove like my entire grade school experience. That'd be fine.
Yeah, they scroll right to the user agreement, just like acknowledge at the bottom.
Yeah, where do I get to the part where I'm at the beach? Click.
Yep.
I mean, you could just like take a few edibles and just watch a screensaver, and then that's it. Like then you're just at the beach. You don't even have to watch real TV.
When he's got it on his boss and he's making his boss watch like a fishing show, and I was like, I would do that. That would be me on my couch with a few edibles, whatever you need to do, just watching 6 hours of fishing in my living room. Like, this is incredible. This is amazing. You gonna go fishing? No, I hate fishing, but I want to watch it in my living room.
Well, there's your answer. Everybody would have it.
My favorite part was him having a kitchen blender on the top of the helmet. That was the best part of the whole thing for me, is just any kitchen appliance that you can turn into a IQ stealing machine. I'm all for that.
With tiny little ping pong balls in it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's key to the design because later on, when he's got like the tower for Enigma Corp, it's basically one of those giant blenders on the top of it. It does the exact same thing, but for the entire city. So apparently it's very important to look like a blender.
Let's talk about that tower real fast. I know that's the end of the movie, but let's talk about it fast because the whole time I'm like, who are the contractors who made this? Like, what happened to them? Because you can't build this thing saying, we're going to put up like all these question marks everywhere, a steel trap that falls on you. Like, someone had to build this. This isn't like some little layer in the middle of nowhere.
I like that that's where you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Who would build this for him?
I'm still trying to figure out who Two-Face's tailor is, because I know he's not making those clothes himself.
Speaking of tailors, Jeremy, you'll love this one. Jim Carrey designed his own costumes.
Oh,
What?
wow. So talented.
That's fantastic.
I don't think he made them, but
But still, just the idea. I mean, who would think like that?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, yeah, that's right.
Well, going back to that tower, it was just way too fragile for me because at the end, all Batman had to do was just throw a gadget at it and the whole thing exploded. And that was it.
A single batarang ruined the entire thing. And you talk about how this movie isn't really about Batman. Which I agree. Like, he is kind of an afterthought. And they have this entire, like, film based around them trying to, like, destroy Batman and get to him and kill him. And all he does is, like, show up, throw a thing at the machine. The Riddler is completely wiped out. And then all he has to do to beat Two-Face is, like, throw a bunch of coins in the air. That was all he did. And the movie was over. I was like, that's it, man. That was a little too simple. And I feel like we talked about this in Batman and Robin, too. Like, how it was, like, way too simple for them to defeat Poison Ivy. I feel like the same thing happened in this movie where you kind of want the climax of the film to be, like, this epic battle where Batman's up against the odds and then he has to. But it was just, like, they made it, like, very simple. Like, all right, we're just going to end this movie now. But they didn't put any thought or energy, it seemed like, into the actual final battle. So that was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
He threw something and he made it rain, effectively.
That's exactly what he did.
He did.
He used Bruce Wayne's powers, not Batman's powers.
Yeah, throwing money in the air. That is Bruce Wayne's
And
power.
even for the Riddler, he was like, oh, you basically won. You've got two people captured. I can't say them both at the same time. You've got everything you've needed. He's like, well, I have a riddle for you. And he's like, oh, well, then let me stop all of my plans. What is your riddle, Batman? Like, it was, again, it was like, there was no... It was just like he used their own weaknesses against them. I understand that's what they're aiming for, but it's so like ham-fisted at the end. You're like, come on.
Well, I know they had issues with fighting with the Batman suit. The suit itself that he's wearing is 100 pounds. So he cannot move too much.
Oh my God.
He lost, I think they said it was like he lost 10 pounds in weight from all the just wearing that thing around for
It's
all
a
the shooting.
workout. Yeah.
And of course, the note next to that was Robin's costume was 40 pounds.
Well, I mean, talking about the suit, we did get a nice little Batman butt shot towards the end of the movie.
Oh my God.
I appreciated that very much. It reminded me of the Batman and Robin.
That was a teaser for the next film.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah, when you talk about amping it up, that's what they amped up.
Yeah, well, they had that butt shot, and then there was that when if Robin gets his final outfit, you're like, you get one nipple shot. And you're like, that's it. That's all they're going to do. And the next time, like, check it out. We're going to do it for the entire run of the movie. Hope you're ready.
Imagine the meeting you were having as a director with the costume people saying, you know what, I need his crotch bigger. I need nipples. And make it as a toned ass.
Yeah, because it's like it's a chest plate. Why did you need nipples on this? This is very unnecessary.
Jim Carrey's just like, add more question marks.
That one makes sense. Add more question marks. Like, you know what? I get it. I go for it. Do it.
Well, if it came down to it, right, and like he had to actually make a choice, who do you think he's saving, Robin or Dr. Meridian?
Robin.
Robin.
No, I think he's saving Dr. Meridian. He's like, Robin will figure it out.
That's actually a good point.
See, I don't know. He's already had this thing where he feels like he's at blame for Robin's parents dying. I think he's not going to let him die.
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy.
Speaking of that, what did you guys think of the scene where the Graysons die?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that whole thing. I mean, just watching Robin and his family, fly through there, it was very entertaining because it just reminds me of going to see, Cirque du Soleil and those kind of people. How they can throw themselves like that is just completely beyond me. And when Two-Face shows up with his, what was it, 200 things of TNT or something, and he's basically like, I'm going to blow everyone mile high unless Batman shows himself. And Batman almost does it. Like, Wayne actually yells out, I'm Batman, but everyone's screaming and no one can hear what's going on. And in that moment, it's like, they go to work, the Graysons go to work to like try to like untie the bomb and get it out. And Robin does save the day before he's Robin and, get the bomb out and save everybody in the circus. And then we look down and Splat, his entire family is just face planted. I mean, it was terrifying. And then you realize why Robin has this vendetta. And he's like, I'm going to go and kill Two-Face. It made perfect sense.
I mean, my big problem with that scene was two things. Number one, who asks a woman on a first date to a circus? Like, what is that?
But wait, it's the Gotham Charity Circus. That's how you get around it. It's the Gotham Charity Circus for all the
schmucky
rich
schmucks.
bigwigs to go and hang out at a circus. But that's what they do in Gotham.
Are you saying that doesn't work? That could explain my early dating life.
I mean, yeah, it's just like a huge tent that smells like elephant poop is not usually the place I would go for a first date. The other thing, though, that Andrene just mentioned is he's like, Batman must reveal himself. And he literally stands up and says, I'm Batman. And Dr. Meridian is standing right next to him.
There,
and then she still doesn't know that he's Batman later in the film. I'm like, come on, man. It wasn't that loud in there. He was right next to you and he screamed it at the top of his lungs. Speaking of which, I have a lot to say about this whole Dr. Meridian thing.
I was just about to transition to that.
Yes.
So what do you think about that whole storyline and arc with her?
I mean, like I said, she's supposed to be so smart, but as the movie progresses, she just comes off more and more like just a bimbo. And that was kind of, I guess that's what you would do in a superhero movie, but it was just kind of like, man, she's supposed to be like this clinical psychologist and they just make her look kind of dumb. And also, how has she not figured out that Bruce is Batman yet? In addition to that, another thing, I won't even say the thing, because there's many things that bother me about this entire character. But there's a part where she's like, Batman, I really want you. Meet me at midnight at my house. And then at midnight, she's sleeping. How are you not waiting up for Batman? Why is she asleep? It doesn't make any sense. She literally told him to come at midnight.
Okay, it's time for my bones to pick with her because I have a couple as well. Unless she wants to.
I was just about to say the whole midnight thing. I think she wasn't actually asleep. Like, she's trying to like set the scene, set the mood a little bit. And just so you're aware, and Fergal's not here to sort of jump on this one, but she's not wearing anything under that sheet. As an actress, she's not. So that whole scene
that seems unnecessary.
There's a lot of things with her character that are not necessary.
I didn't want to ruin it, but I'm also wearing nothing under this shirt.
It explains how it just falls so gently against you, Jeremy.
There's no breastplate? Not today?
My bulletproof vest is not on for recording of the movie Smash.
Okay, so my first problem with Dr. Meridian is the first time we really get a chance to talk with her, Batman shows up and he shows her this riddle that the Riddler has left, that he like cuts out some letters and posts it on this thing for her to figure out. And she's like, well, looking at this, my opinion is that this letter writer is a wacko with obsessional syndrome with potential homicidal tendencies. And I'm like, you got all that from glancing at this document?
She's very good at her job, though.
I was like, what? So that made zero sense. So I was already like, I don't like this lady. But then further on towards the end of the movie where Bruce Wayne is finally like coming to terms with who he is. He wants to come clean to her. He's had his flashbacks and he's about to tell her that he's Batman. And he basically says to her, like, I'm ready to come clean and tell you. And then she just starts making out with him. I'm like, what kind of psychiatrist is this? It really made me upset. I was like, girl,
well, she wasn't his psychiatrist. She's a girl he's dating that happens to be a psychiatrist. It's not quite like he was in the chair in the room. He had a booked appointment. Then she's like, you know what? Stop talking. We're going to make out, which is fine too. But that's not what the scene was.
That's not this kind of movie, no.
Well, it's the fact that she asked him first. She said, Bruce, what are you trying to tell me? Yeah. And then before he could answer, she kissed him.
I was like, what?
I mean, man, way to let him off the hook. He doesn't have to answer your questions and he gets to make out with you. Perfect.
In addition to that, she ends up calling him using the bat signal just to try to seduce him.
And what is she wearing that night?
Negligee.
Exactly. On the top of the police station.
And Commissioner Gordon's like, what's going on?
After like 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes of the light being on, he's like, wait a minute, someone should go up there and see what's going on. Because I didn't turn this light on. And I'm the only one who turns it on.
There's no safeguard for this? Anyone can just go up there and
just
flip
walk
the switch?
up there? Yeah. It's the top of the police station. Everyone just walk through the police station. I'm going to the restroom. I'll be right back. So upstairs.
Well, the thing about it, too, is like, she's all about Batman. She's so much about Batman that when Bruce originally tries to hit on her, she's like, yeah, nah, I can't. There's another guy. Mind you, Batman's done nothing but just push her to the side. But in her head, she's still going to get him one day. So she tells Bruce, like, nah, I can't do it. But then when Batman finally does show up, she's like, oh, this is what I wanted the whole time. I turned down the richest man in Gotham for you. But now that you're here in my bedroom at midnight, I can't do it anymore. And then she just changes her mind.
After kissing him. So she has now kissed Wayne and Batman and has no idea it's the same person. The eyes, the lips, all of that. And then in addition to that, she has all these notes on Batman. She's trying to figure out who he is psychologically.
She's obsessed with Batman.
I feel like on the paper, it said something like schizophrenic something. So I'm like, you think he's schizophrenic and you want to get into his pants?
Well, she did say she only chooses bad boys.
That's
She
true.
did.
Baby.
She is self-aware.
She needs to go for Two-Face then. That's more up her alley.
She can't go for him anymore.
That is the twist I would not expect.
So what do you think happens to Bruce and Dr. Chase at the end? Because it seemed like they were getting ready to set up like a happily ever after. But then that conversation that they had at the end of the film made it seem like they were kind of like saying goodbye to each other. So I was not clear on like, so are they together or not?
Well, the mystery's been solved. No, she doesn't need to stick around. The mystery's gone. The romance is all gone.
Once she knows who Batman is, then it's like, I'm not interested in this guy anymore.
And realistically, after you've dated the guy that's Batman, after like enough times where you're supposed to do stuff and he just vanishes because the light turned on, you're like, you know what? I'm done with this guy. He's never around. He's always out every night. Done.
And they're turning on the bat signal like every 10 minutes in this film, man. I'm like, these people are really reliant on Batman. They don't do anything. They just flip that light on. It's like every scene, the bat signal turns on.
It's Gotham.
It's insane.
It's Gotham.
And I have to answer it every time. What happens if Batman's just like, yo, I can't do it tonight? Then they're just like, oh, well, we turned the light on. There was no plan B.
Well, the commissioner said, like, he's like, it's time to turn it off. Like, I think there's a time limit on the lamp.
It's a time limit. Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It has an auto shut off feature. It doesn't want to burn the light out. No, 10 minutes, take it off.
It is interesting, though, how, I mean, there's a lot of things, obviously, that they change in the Christopher Nolan version of these films. But one of the things that I really noticed was how much more central Commissioner Gordon becomes. Like, he is just like a guy that calls Batman. And that's really all he does in this movie, or really any of the early ones, as far as I can remember, where like he becomes more of an actualized character in the later Christian Bale movies. But like, we don't really know anything about Commissioner Gordon. And then in the next one, Batgirl is what, his daughter, his
niece, I think.
Niece or something like that. But still, like, we don't really know anything about this guy.
Well, no, in the next one, isn't it the weird, like, she's supposed to be Gordon's
niece? She's related to Alfred.
She's Alfred.
Yeah, she's Alfred's niece.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And she's there from her boarding school in England and has no accent.
Correct.
Right.
Now, in the Batman world, Batwoman is Gordon's daughter.
That's right.
So there is that tie that's there, but not in the next movie.
Oh, okay.
So what other scenes stood out to you guys?
Ooh, like in good ways.
Either way, notable.
Because all the Dr. Meridian scenes that I just yelled about, they all stood out to me.
Like another one might be like how Robin discovers the Batcave.
Yeah. Alfred was way too lax. No, that's Alfred's fault though. Like, you know, this is Batman's biggest secret. essentially. And like he just yells out, "Robin, where are you?" He's upstairs. Okay, cool. And then just walks into the room. He didn't bother to close the door behind him or lock it.
The most secretive part of this mansion, the door closes very slowly, man. You have your identity hidden behind here. Like, grease that thing up a little bit.
Not only that, he took the long way to get there.
Yeah.
He's swinging around. He's jumping places. He could literally just go down the steps.
That's because he's an acrobat. Acrobats don't walk down the stairs. What are you doing?
Exactly.
And also that
exactly.
the entrance to that place is right near the entrance to the house because the Jim Carrey finds it pretty fast. Sorry, the Riddler finds it pretty fast.
He finds it very fast.
Still Alfred's fault because he didn't even properly check to make sure that they were kids.
Also, how did those kids even get to the door? Because before they come to the door for trick-or-treating, you see him. But then the gate's locked. When the Riddler and Two-Face show up, the gate is locked, and they have to wait for the kids to get the door open so they can leave. But then who's standing outside letting kids in? It's not him because he's in the house giving out candy. We've seen no other employees of Wayne Mansion at all. They could have had a security guard at the front gate. That would have fixed all my concerns there, but they didn't have one. Instead, these kids just walked in, and they were like, "Oh, it's Halloween. We'll let anyone walk in. Who cares?" So
I also find it hard to believe that anyone would be like trick-or-treating at Wayne Manor.
No,
like,
of course not.
It's like up on a cliff. There's like a long single driveway to get there.
They give out the full candy bars.
I was going to say, yeah, it's full candy bars.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, but where are their parents? They're just hiking up there?
It's Gotham. It's a lawless town.
This was the 90s, man. Let the kids just wander around. It's all fine.
Look, younger kids are out in groups trick-or-treating, but once you hit 16, you have to join that neon gang. You don't have any other choices. That's the two things you can do.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's how you graduate to becoming a supervillain. You have to be like a worthless thug first.
Work your way up to a horrific accident that turns you into a supervillain. That's what you do.
Well, unless
you
you're
can
one of
join
the
hope.
The mob. Those are your options.
Or you're a scientist.
If you're a girl, you end up as one of those streetwalkers that Robin was trying to pick up. So,
or you can be
Dr. Meridian,
or you can be one of the villain's entourage.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
You got your Drew Barrymore. You got your who was the one in the it was Vivica Fox in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Who was with Dr. Freeze.
I think what we're saying is there's a jobs program in Gotham.
That's true. That's true. There's definitely a jobs program. I mean, I think to answer your question, the one that stands out to me, the scene that stands out to me is when, like I said, I was all about the villains. So I like the scene when the Riddler finds Two-Face's lair and he shows up and he's just like Jim Carreying all over the place. And Two-Face is like, "What is this? Like, you're like upsetting the ecosystem here." But he's like, "Yo, you hate Batman, right? Like, this is what I'm about to do. Like, we got to get him out of here." And so once we see him actually allowing the Riddler to do his Jim Carrey-ness, and then they're in this very like Two-Face experience lair. It was that was my favorite scene, both in terms of how they were playing off each other, but also I think just the visual of that whole environment was it was fun to watch.
I think what puzzled me as far as scenes is
What riddled you?
Thank you. Was when Bruce Wayne decides that he's going to essentially check out Nigma's, brain machine, and the Drew Barrymore character's like, "Oh yeah, we'll take this thing out, so this way it's not going to be on for you." And I'm like, why would he trust any of this? And then he goes back there and it turns on, and now he's just like staring into the void and is able to read his mind. And I'm like, you got to be more careful than this. Like, you just yelled out you were Batman at the circus. Now you're here letting them get into your brain. Like, it was the weirdest thing.
I love how what's inside his brain is just a bat flying directly at you. Like, that's all that's going through his head is just a bat flying directly at his face.
And that means he must be Batman. Not that he was attacked by a bat in his youth and he's horrified by them. Nope, it's that he's Batman. He wasn't thinking about being the Batman or the Batcave or anything else that would give away that he's Batman. He's like, oh, he was thinking about a bat? Well, I know who he is. He's got to be the Batman.
The scene that frustrated me, though, was the attack on Wayne Manor. Because Bruce Wayne didn't fight back at all.
Nah, he was trash, man. He was definitely the least fighting Batman we've seen.
He could have easily fought those thugs off. He wasn't fighting Jim Carrey. He wasn't fighting Two-Face. He was just fighting thugs.
All he did was hold on to Dr. Meridian's hand, and they tried to jump over the couch together. And I was like, "What is happening?" I could have fought better than that.
Of all the surfaces that you need to hold someone's hand to jump off, a sofa is definitely not one of them. It's like, I don't need assistance with this, man. Just jump over the damn couch.
Well, it's like kind of like a surfing thing, kind of rolled with him. You know, they had to get something for that.
That's true. They definitely did. I mean, we talk about the many plot holes in this film, but I think the biggest one is in this scene that you're talking about, Chris, because the entire reason that Two-Face agrees to team up with the Riddler is for what purpose? So that he can help him kill Batman. And they find out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and they have him knocked out cold, and he has a gun to his head. And it's like, this is the entire reason that you exist in this film. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Let me just wait until he's alive again, when he's back conscious, and then I'll try to kill him. That doesn't make any sense. The entire purpose of you in this film is to try to kill the Batman. And he had literally had a gun to his temple.
And the Riddler's answer was like, well, if we do it, he won't learn anything. Like, but you're going to kill him anyway. What's he supposed to learn?
What is he supposed to learn?
Instead, you've come to his house. He's seen these two people tear up his house and steal his girlfriend. And you're like, yeah, now he can die. He's learned not to do that again. That's it. You don't need to learn another lesson. That's the lesson.
This was another one of those scenes where Two-Face keeps flipping that coin to get the answer he's looking for.
Yep.
Yes. That's the first time we really see him do it that many times, I think. We see him flip it, but then he's like, he just chooses not to do stuff. Lets the guy go with the bank, or like lets him live, I guess. And so it happens, but this is the first time you see him where he's like, I'm just going to keep flipping until I get the answer I want. But that means he's also doing nothing until he gets that answer.
Yeah, he wasn't helping at all.
No, he was just sitting in a chair.
But then it's also like when he meets with the Riddler, he's like, yo, I don't know. I don't trust this guy. Like, he's going to have to convince me. And within a matter of, I don't know, weeks, he's able to convince him very easily not to kill his biggest rival by just saying like, oh, he won't learn anything. He's like, yeah, man, you're right. Why are you listening to him now? And that was the biggest plot hole for me in this entire movie. It's like, man, you could have just blown his head off and you got everything you wanted. They made it very easy for him, I felt.
There may have been a deleted scene where we learned that Harvey Dent was running on a campaign of education. So it's very important to him. People need to learn things.
That would have been...
I would have loved that, actually. I would have loved that.
We already discussed it, but the scene that kind of frustrated me was at Edward Nygma's big thing where he's showing off his second version of the template or whatever. Two-Face comes in and basically ruins it, right? The Riddler's got what he wants now. He's got Wayne in a box. He's going to figure out he's Batman, hopefully with better than just a flash of a bat. But he's also got this gala where people are like very excited about using this machine. It's really selling his thing. And then Two-Face comes in because he's impatient. He's like, you're taking too long to kill Batman, so I'm here to cause a scene and get Batman to show up, which is I guess fine. It works because Batman does show up. But I think if they would have taken it at this point and had it be more of a, now the Riddler and Two-Face are at odds, so they're fighting each other, then the Riddler could have killed Two-Face in such a way that wouldn't make, like, it would have been a better death for him anyway, but you wouldn't have I guess what they were trying to do is have it so it's like Robin wants to kill him, but he ultimately decides not to kill him. So sure, you could have still done something there, but he still could have killed Two-Face, and then Batman could have just taken on the Riddler, and that would have been a better ending than the kind of like haphazard ending where everything just ends really quickly, and he just uses the people's weaknesses really quick to take them out with logic as opposed to doing anything, interesting. But instead, it's like the next scene, they're like, well, here's what we're going to do next together. I'm like, you just ruined this guy's like ultimate plan outside of killing Batman. He wants to get everyone's brain power, whatever his ultimate goal is with these helmets to become the smartest man alive or whatever. And he's got it where he's got a national, or at least Gotham-wide event to show it. It's going to get a lot of press worldwide. It's going to be a big thing. And Two-Face ruins it. And the next scene, they're just like hanging out again. Like, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed that there was no friction between the two of them, more than I guess professionally there was.
And they set it up for them to have friction too. So like it would have been very easy for them to add that, but then they just didn't.
Yeah, they were like, nah, never mind. We'll just have them go to the same giant tower. That's fine.
Well, you mentioned, Jeremy, about how Robin could have easily killed, was it Two-Face, and then he decides to save him. And this is something we see all the time with some kind of superhero movie where the good guy cannot kill a bad guy. Right. It always has to be a situation where they're hanging off the side of a cliff, they save them, and then the person turns around and stabs them in the back or hits them over the head or something. And it's like, just let them die. Like, why do we have to do this?
For the Robin, this time it kind of makes sense because the whole Batman not wanting to help to create Robin, right? Bruce did not want to have Dick become Robin because he's like, no, if you're doing this for vengeance, then you're just going to kill another person, because that's never going to get rid of the hole in your heart now, because killing this person isn't going to fix that, and it's not going to help you. You're going to be basically becoming the thing you're trying to kill. So him not doing it was, supposed to be Robin learning. I get it, why it happened here, But it does happen in every one of these movies. Anytime there's a superhero, and especially Batman. Batman's always, I don't kill people, which is fine. I mean, Superman's kind of the same.
I mean, he kind of killed Two-Face, though.
Two-Face killed Two-Face. Batman used his weakness, but Two-Face is the one who ultimately jumped up to get all the coins and fell to his death. Batman didn't push him. Batman didn't say, oh, you got to do this. He said, in fact, he didn't even tell Two-Face, other than like, hey, what about your coin? Like, that was it. He didn't kill the Joker in the first movie. The Joker fell off a building.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't kill the Penguin in the second movie. He doesn't kill either of these characters. They kill themselves.
Batman thinks he's supposed to be the most prepared man in the world, and he doesn't kill. The thing is, everything he does gives the villain an opportunity to die, right?
Yes,
like he's killing like inadvertently or like a lot of collateral damage. He just sets up these scenarios where like if you do a body count, it's pretty high for Batman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I totally agree with that. Of course, he didn't like push Two-Face off of a cliff, but come on, Manny. You know he's about to flip this coin, and then you throw a bunch of coins in the air. There's only one way this is going to end, especially when he's standing on a very small ledge. He's going to fall over and die. That was what you wanted.
And we learned earlier he can jump down long tubes and save people that are falling to their death.
He also has a lot of gadgets. He could have like shot that little, the thing that he always hangs on the side of buildings. He could have like shot that towards Two-Face as he was falling down, grabbed him, saved him. But he's like, nah, I'm just going to watch this dude die.
He's very much on the, I'm not taking direct action in your death, so I have no guilt.
Exactly. Yes, 100%.
I kind of stand by that. I think that's fine. If you're going to be Batman and you're not going to kill people, but you're like, you know what, but I'm not going to stop you from killing yourself.
Yeah.
This movie clocks in just over 2 hours. Did you notice that length?
Yes.
A little bit. Probably not as much as Batman and Robin. I mean, I knew how long it was going to be going in, so I think that helped. But yeah, I mean, does this movie need to be 2 hours long? Absolutely not. But it didn't feel that bad.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've definitely seen some movies that felt like I had to stop and pause multiple times and get up. Not this time. I was able to sit down and watch it in one sitting, which just says a lot for me.
Yeah, I think it just felt long because they crammed a lot in here. Again, this is another Batman movie where they're like, we can't just have one villain. We're going to have two villains that have to have at least a little bit of backstory and a little bit of character building, a tiny bit. But still, there's a lot of Two-Face. There's a lot of Riddler. You introduce Robin. You've got the Dr. Love interest character that's more than just she shows up whenever he calls or whatever. Like there's a lot to cram in this movie. And the Robin part really is, I think, the one that suffers the most. I think Two-Face and Riddler, you get enough. And it's fine. Like you're not missing anything. You're not like, I don't understand why any of that happened. Like you get that. Where with Robin, it's really fast. You see him, 30 minutes in at the circus event, and then now he lives with Batman because why wouldn't he live with Batman? Because he feels bad, and they're going to just give him to the richest guy in the city who takes anyone in who has no family. Who, by the way, he's an adult. He's not like the Robin in the comics was like 12 or something when he became Robin. So it was different than like, oh, here's a 24-year-old that needs a place to live. We're going to put him in Wayne Manor. Like there's no hotels.
I thought that was weird too because it did even feel like the way that they were talking about him was like he was a child. Like,
right.
His whole family's gone and now he needs a place to go. Like who's going to take care of this young man?
Who knows how to drive. So he can't be 14. He's clearly at least 16, even though I think he's like in his mid 30s. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I was like, this, if he's supposed to be even a teenager, that's really bad casting because he doesn't look like that. He just looks like he's like in his mid 20s. So
this felt like a Melrose Place kind of situation. Like he's supposed to be 17, but he looks 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then how am I supposed to know that he's supposed to be 17?
Right. They don't ever say like you have 2 years so you can live on your own or something that would at least let you kind of know how old he is. But instead it's just like, oh yeah, you have no place to live. We'll put you up at Bruce Wayne's house.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm hopping on my motorcycle. The motorcycle that every 12-year-old has. Like
a guy that, by the way, he'd have no reason to understand why Bruce Wayne would feel guilty that his parents died. So it's like, I don't know, we just found a rich guy who likes to take kids in. We're not going to ask any questions. You can just live with him.
Rich guy taking in kids. That just sounds great.
Yikes. What was your opinion of Chris O'Donnell's Robin?
Yeah, we kind of skipped over that, didn't we?
Well, because he's older, it lacks what you'd need to have that understanding of why Batman even feels more like I'm going to take care of this child. He has no parents. He's a lot like me. Like they say it, but then you're still just like, but he's like in his 20s. So it's just a guy you could be friends with. Go have a beer. You don't have to have him live in your house and teach him how to be a crime fighter. So like, I don't know. he's always been, even in the second one, but the one we did before Batman and Robin, he's just kind of like, he's fine. Like, I don't know. I don't know Chris O'Donnell in anything else ever other than these two movies. I know he's done other things, but I don't. It's not like he's gone on to be like, oh, he did all these other awesome movies. Like, no, he was Batman. He was Robin twice. And I don't know what else he ever did.
No, that's fair.
Well, we'll get into sort of who else was potentially going to be Robin in a little bit. And I think there may have been better choices.
Yeah, definitely better choices.
Younger choices?
Yeah, younger choices that would have made more sense.
They could have cast an actual child. That was an option.
Macaulay Culkin.
Honestly, I would have been okay
I'd
with
watch
that.
the hell out of that.
That would have been fine.
We know he can set up a booby trap. We know that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
man,
true.
imagine the Wayne Manor invasion later on just becomes full on him making traps.
Man,
I've been
that'd
all
be
about
great.
that.
That would be an amazing film. That would be an amazing film.
Like, that's the climax of the movie, is that. There's no other thing after that. They come to get Batman, and he saves him. That'd be incredible.
So the question we often get from people is sort of who was the best at Bruce Wayne? So this series has three different people playing Batman, obviously, or playing Bruce Wayne. Of the three, who do you think played Bruce Wayne the best between Keaton, Kilmer, and Clooney?
We're Keaton fans.
Yeah. I remember liking Val Kilmer more as Bruce than I did this time. I think Keaton's the better of all three.
Now, what about who plays the better Batman?
See, I feel like I'm a big Keaton fan. Obviously, those movies are also just better films.
Yeah.
But I will say that he was a more convincing. He was much clearer as the better Batman to me than as the better Bruce. Like, I thought Val Kilmer's Bruce was pretty good. Whereas I think there's a bigger gap for Batman where I think like Keaton was much better than both him and Clooney. But I think the Keaton and Kilmer Bruce Waynes are probably much closer for me.
Yeah, Clooney wasn't really good at either role, in my opinion.
No, yeah. He's last in every category.
Well,
Except
also,
for nipples.
For both Val Kilmer's Batman and George Clooney's Batman, they have other people that are doing a lot of the action. You've got Robin doing things that are the more athletic. Maybe it's because the suit for Batman was too heavy and he couldn't do it. Where with the Michael Keaton Batman, he's the only like
That's
superhero
true.
in
Yeah.
these two movies. So he's got to do everything, or his stuntman does, but it's still that Batman. And so I think Keaton was the better of both, like you said. But I didn't hate Val Kilmer's Bruce. I just don't think he's got as much to work with script-wise as Keaton did. Maybe he would have been better with a better script.
Well, there was an interesting interview that happened around the same time with Bob Kane, one of the co-creator of Batman. He said Val Kilmer was the best Batman up to that date.
Who said this?
Bob Kane, the creator of Batman.
Okay.
So that means you guys are all wrong.
Yeah, I don't know that my opinion matters more than Bob Kane's.
No, probably not. Mine does definitely not.
All right, I guess he got it.
But he was also getting older at that point, so maybe his opinion was off.
He said it while holding the bag of money he was given by Warner Brothers, so didn't quite count.
I mean, the other thing about Keaton that I think goes to his advantage is he got to play off of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Like, versus doing half of your movie scenes with Nicole Kidman in like her worst role ever. Like, Nicole Kidman is a very talented actor, don't get me wrong, but she's not doing very much great acting in this movie. Whereas I feel like Nicholson's doing a lot with that Joker, and that's giving Keaton more material to play with.
I'm glad you brought up the other movie too. That weird fact, there's a top hat. All the villains wear top hats for all the movies up until the Batman and Robin movie. Joker had a top hat. Penguin had a top hat.
I knew Penguin did.
Two-Face has a top hat.
There you go. Wow. I never would have clocked that.
And now that's why it falls off in equality, because Arnold Schwarzenegger, no top hat.
That doesn't make any sense. He's in a giant suit all the time.
But how good would that have looked?
A metal top hat. That's
A
part
metal
of his uniform.
hat.
Yeah.
It's a white. It's all white. It got little icicles coming off of it. Yeah, that works. If you can have Vivica A. Fox in an ice bikini, you can put Dr. Freeze in a top hat. Come on.
That's true. Because he has the parts where he's in his own lair, just in like a bathrobe. He could have worn a bathrobe and a top hat. It would have been totally fine.
So I want to go into sort of like, obviously this was a big movie and there was a lot of recasting going on. So there were a lot of different directions they were looking at. And I want you guys to tell me, do you want to see that movie or that version of that character?
I don't know that any of the things that you're about to name are going to be better than our Batman Home Alone mashup, but
No. That's really what was missed here. I think over everything else, that's what we missed out on.
let's see. Because I feel like we just came up with a blockbuster, but
So the first thing I want to go over is the role of the director, right? And they were looking at Sam Raimi for a while to direct this new Batman movie.
I mean, he proved with Spider-Man he can do superhero movies, so it might have been all right.
A little horror flavor to it.
Wait, so what else has he done? I'm not familiar with that name.
He did Spider-Man 1 and 2. Did he do 3 as well? The first Spider-Man movies, the one with Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
So he did those, but he's done like Evil Dead. He's done a bunch of horror movies as well. But he's done superhero movies that were, took the source material seriously enough, but still were fun and they were a good time. I think he would have done okay.
He did a Multiverse of Madness. He did
more recent.
What he's really known for is Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, those sort of campy horror movies.
Yeah, so I think the camp might have gone in a different direction. Certainly, Batman and Robin would have looked a lot different.
I'm going to jump right to Robin because I think we all agree there may be a better pick for it, but there were some interesting ones that actually got really close. Marky Mark.
What?
No, I don't like that.
How old is Marky Mark in this point? Wouldn't he have also been like in his 30s?
It's 1998 Mark Wahlberg. It's like Fear Mark Wahlberg.
Oh. Still, I don't know. I think we would have the same. Also, imagine the accent. No thanks.
Speaking of accents, Matt Damon.
I
He's
can
too
see
old
it.
too. He's too old too. Then it's the same problem I have with.
It's the same problem.
One of the same problems.
Yeah.
But he'd be too old.
How about Ewan McGregor?
No.
That's
He was
even worse.
Obi-Wan right around the
I don't
same
like
time,
that.
wasn't he? Like he'd have a big beard.
That's even worse.
What about Corey Haim?
Corey Haim? Wasn't he dead by then?
I was thinking it. I didn't want to say it.
No, he was still alive then. Yeah, he was still alive then.
Well, if you don't like that, Corey, how about Corey Feldman?
Both the Corys were too old by the 90s.
come on.
These again.
Come on.
Actually, Corey Feldman would have been awesome because there would have been a mandatory dance scene and I would have been all about it. They would not have gone to have the old backstory. There wouldn't have been a circus. It would have been some incredible Michael Jackson dance scene that he would have done, and I would have been all for it. But
you know what's funny about that to me too, though, is think about how many studios and how many directors were just like thinking about both of them for the same role. Like, because I know for me, the two Corys are kind of like, you think of both of them at the same time, right? It's like Bird and Magic.
Right.
It's like you never think about one without thinking of the other. So I imagine that a lot of movies that one person was considered for, they also just considered the other one.
We need a little Corey for this one. We don't know which one. Doesn't matter too much.
Exactly. Let's just call both of their
Corey
representation.
picks up the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what about Alan Cumming?
How old was Alan Cumming at this point? I think these are all way too old for Robin.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, if you don't like that one, how about Leonardo DiCaprio?
He's way too big. He would have been way too big of a star.
Leonardo, this would have been the same year that Titanic came out. Oh no, the year after.
Yeah,
it's the year after.
Yeah, he would turn that down.
No. I'm sorry. I'm going the wrong way. This came out in 95, so it's before Titanic. So this is like Gilbert Grape. That's probably the best one you've said so far to me.
Probably, but I don't know he would take it because Leo is known for being very selective about the movies.
Well, no, we know that he didn't take it.
Like,
but
I'm just saying, like,
It's not that he didn't take it because it was actually down to Leonardo DiCaprio and Chris O'Donnell. That was the only two that they left at the final round. And to figure out what it was, they went to Gen Con and asked kids who would win in a fight.
Well, of course he's going to win in a fight. That's not a good comparison for Robin.
That's what the producers said. They made the decision by asking
Should
kids.
we make this Robin Mike Tyson? Or should we make it Leonardo DiCaprio? And we're only going to base it on fighting ability.
Oh my God. That's so funny. And also the fact that major studio decision was just left to a bunch of kids and they asked them one stupid question. There's so many things that could have gone into how you decide Robin. It's like, all right, kids, which one can fight the best? That doesn't make any sense at all.
At all.
Now, so I want to go switch over to Dr. Chase Meridian. By the way, this character was originally going to be Poison Ivy, but they said this is way too many villains, so we're going to take Poison Ivy and save her for the fourth movie.
But not, so wait, the character was going to be Poison Ivy or literally the backstory was going to be the same? Because I thought they were going to lead into the idea that maybe down the road it would be kind of the Harley Quinn sort of character, right? She's a clinical psychologist. She's going to Arkham later in the movie and stuff. Like,
right.
Does she become that character? Is that why her and Batman are no longer together? Even though it's a different take on it. But
All they said in the interview is that originally she was supposed to be Poison Ivy, and then they switched it to be a character they've completely made up whole cloth for the movie.
Okay.
So you had Rene Russo, potentially.
Okay. I mean,
yeah,
they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, I mean, again, this time frame, these are all interchangeable people to do what she does in this movie. Like, it's not like She didn't have a lot to work with. She doesn't do a ton of this movie. Any of these people could have done the exact same thing.
Cindy Crawford.
I'm trying to think. She didn't do a lot of acting.
Yeah,
really,
I'm about to say, can
but
she
the
act?
not doing a lot of acting here either. So maybe maybe it's a little
Yeah,
worse.
I mean-
but I think she was a little older though. I think again, I don't think she was like old or anything, but compared to everyone else we've already listed, I think she's the oldest of those actresses.
I mean, they just want a smoke show at the end of the
true.
day. That's really all it is.
It's like you're asking, could a supermodel play a super hot woman?
Yeah.
Like, yes, she could. She could play
yes, they
that very
could.
easily. That's the entire role. And then you just have to like say a bunch of like clinical phrases every once in a while.
And
But
sexual
that's-
innuendo. That's it.
Clinical phrases like wacko.
That's right. That's right.
You also had Jamie Lee Curtis up for this role.
I don't know if I care for that.
I don't know if I see that one either. I'm going with Cindy Crawford
Last one I do. There are other ones too. This was the last one I go into. Linda Hamilton
from Terminator.
from Terminator.
Wait, that's a wasted. You
that
can use
feels
Linda
like a
Hamilton
reach.
for a lot of things, but that's not it.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears to talk about the villains. I know you guys like the villains, but Two-Face actually had a couple different options until he finally settled on Tommy Lee Jones. The
Okay.
first one was Mel Gibson.
Talk about things that age poorly.
He hadn't aged poorly at this time, but
Yes, that would be a very different movie.
I'm trying to see him sell it as much as Tommy Lee Jones did, and I don't know that I can.
think Lethal Weapon. Yeah, he could do it. It would be different. It wouldn't be as over the top. The like laughing nonstop. I don't see.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It would be a different Two-Face, but it would still work. It would still be over the top enough, I think. But yeah, you're right. Years later, totally the right choice to avoid that.
Yeah, it'd be like a Lethal Weapon, Thunderdome kind of thing.
I could see that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Our next one for Two-Face was Joe Pesci.
No.
Oh, no. Oh,
I love how you guys'
Oh my
response was just like
God.
flat out.
I would
no.
see him as a
God.
Penguin. I think he could have made the Penguin work, actually. But either way, not good for Two-Face.
talk about accents. We'll have Joe Pesci, and then
Seriously.
we'll have Marky Mark.
Okay, Riddler. They had a couple different ones before they finally settled on Jim Carrey. And by the way, I think Jim Carrey is like a natural fit for the Riddler. But I can't think of the two without thinking of Jim Carrey. But
100%. 100%.
Steve Martin.
Maybe if you had said Martin Short, I would have been more on board.
See, I think Steve Martin could have done it, but again, I think even by now he's too old to have made that work as a character that was as physical as the Riddler was. Like,
Yeah.
he would not be nearly as physical.
This is like Father of the Bride, Steve Martin.
Yeah. And I love Steve Martin, but this is not that. It's not the same feel at all.
What about Matthew Broderick?
That's interesting. I don't hate that.
Yeah, that could have worked. I'm trying to think of something he was in that wasn't like that would have been over the top like that, but he's done a lot of roles that have some physicality to them.
Yeah.
What about Robin Williams?
Again, same situation
Yeah,
with
yeah, I agree with that. And also, you want a tall and slender Riddler.
Yeah.
That's how that character's always
Yeah.
been built.
Okay, then I have a tall, slender one for you. I'm not sure how tall he is, but Michael Jackson.
What?
especially like mid
No,
90s
man,
Michael Jackson.
absolutely
That
not.
cannot. That could
No.
not. Can you imagine the movie? But if you get Corey Feldman and Michael Jackson, you know what? I'm back in. Now I'm in 100%. That's how this works for me.
Okay,
Oh
now
my
Batman had a
God.
ton of them. I'm not going to cover all the ones for Batman because there are a ton of people who applied for it. But there's some funny ones in here that I thought were pretty interesting. Alec Baldwin.
I think he would have been interchangeable with Clooney for the same way he would have done the character.
So not great.
Yeah, probably not great, but I think it would be the same. Like it was fine, I guess, at the time. Like I wasn't like this was horrible, but it was just like okay.
Yeah, it doesn't add anything to the character.
Okay, if that you don't like that one, how about a Daniel Day-Lewis?
He's great in everything. I can't imagine to be bad in this. I wouldn't have picked him, but he's amazing in everything. So
I'm having a hard time even like picturing what that would look like. But that's also because Daniel Day-Lewis is hard to imagine.
Right,
Because
every
just
role
like
he's
a
so
completely
different.
person every time.
Exactly.
it would be one of those things where
He's so
afterwards you'd be like,
good.
he was an amazing Bruce Wayne. You're like, really? Daniel Day-Lewis? But he would have been. He would have been incredible.
That's probably true.
How about a Kurt Russell?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah.
I'm amazed by how you guys are feeling these roles, but the other ones are like, no. Ethan Hawke.
I think he's too young.
Yeah.
It's 1995.
Well, if he's too young, then how about Tom Hanks?
Ugh.
As Batman, I don't
No, I don't see it.
know.
Because again, this is mid 90s Tom Hanks. This is
Can
like,
he
when's
be dark
Forrest Gump?
enough?
Isn't that like 98, 99? Like
Yeah.
he's older. Like that. Tom Hanks
Forrest Gump is 94. Is Forrest Gump?
Oh
is the
yeah,
year
so it's
before
right after
this.
Forrest Gump. So that's the same age you're thinking about. But no, I don't know.
I don't think he's dark enough.
I think it would have been an okay Bruce Wayne, but I don't know if he'd be able to pull off Batman realistically.
Okay, how about a Johnny Depp?
Yeah, that would have been good.
He's a weirdo. I mean,
Yeah, he would have been fine.
He's a
do it.
weirdo.
Yeah, I mean,
He is a weirdo.
he is.
I guess that's our measure of is it a good Batman or not. He's weird.
It's been confirmed. No, that's funny though. I feel like Johnny Depp is, I mean, he's not Daniel Day-Lewis, of course, but I do feel like he also has shown the propensity to be able to like dive into characters in a way that they are vastly different from one another. So I don't doubt his ability to be able to turn that on.
A favorite of people, Keanu Reeves.
I think that would have been worse than Kilmer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey was actually up for the role of Batman.
Man. Nah, that's ridiculous.
Nobody wants that.
That's 1995 Jim Carrey.
Nobody wants that.
Right after
He's
Dumb
going to
and
go
Dumber,
from
he's
do not go
Batman.
in there to being Bruce Wayne. Come on, man. There's no way.
I don't think that's true. I think Chris made that up. There's no Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey made that rumor up.
What makes it worse is the one right behind it, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. All right.
He's on every one of these.
All right.
Every time you
Okay.
ask, it's him or Sylvester Stallone that's in every one of these you ask.
Can you imagine him as Batman?
No, I can't imagine.
I am the Batman. Okay, we got
Like, that would be so bad, man. Robin, what are you doing in here? That's a really bad movie.
Actually, it would be the Turbo Man version of Batman, and I'd be all about that. You know, I take it back. I wasn't in, but now I think about it as Turbo Man. I'm in again.
But you mix that with Macaulay Culkin, you got a great movie.
Boy,
Well, actually,
yeah,
that's
Macaulay
a completely
Culkin
different
with
movie
Turbo
now.
Man Batman, I'm into that. And if you have Michael Jackson with Corey Feldman, these are movies that I would love to see.
Now that's how you sell toys.
All the kids want a Corey Feldman doll.
So I'm not sure how you guys truly feel about it, if you love it or hate this movie, but what is one thing you absolutely love about this movie?
I mean, I think the Jim Carrey Riddler is the memorable part of this movie, right? If there's
I
no
think
one else
so,
has
too.
done the Riddler on a movie format. I mean, since the 60s one, they had the Riddler. But I mean, like he is in much in the same way I'd say that the Penguin from the previous movie, like the Danny DeVito Penguin, even though he's disgusting, is how I want the Penguin to be. This is how I like the Riddler to be for movie formats. So he's the highlight of this movie, even though his actual plot is kind of ridiculous. I like him as the Riddler for his mannerisms and just the way Jim Carrey portrays him.
I mean, I have to pretty much agree with that. Blender on top of the helmet. I mean, come on. All the little one-liners, the physical comedy, the rubber ducky bombs in the Batcave. He's giving you the whole Jim Carrey experience. What's not to love?
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about Jim Carrey, I really enjoyed the suicide letter that he wrote for his boss.
Fantastic.
I forgot about that.
He just wrote, "To whom it may concern, goodbye, cruel world." And that was it.
The subject line said, regarding my suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and he gives it to the other whoever he gives it
inspector
to,
or whatever, yeah.
the inspector or whatever, and he's like, it matches his mannerisms and the way he writes and everything else. And it's just that. It's like, what other things has this guy written that are to my employees, you're fired. Goodbye.
His sentence structure, his spelling errors.
Yeah.
And there's no questions asked. It's just case closed.
Well, they have the video of him laughing and jumping out the window. So clearly.
How did he fake that,
How
by
did
the
he
way?
do that?
In 1995, nonetheless. How did he do that?
Again, this is where Chris draws a line. He's like, you know what? I was fine with everything else in this movie, but how did they doctor that footage? Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
I was on board with it until I saw that scene.
Construction policy and this scene, I'm out.
This is a guy that can make you do 3D fishing. I'm pretty sure
That's
he
true.
could figure it out somehow.
I'm on board with you guys. Jim Carrey is the movie. Like his portrayal. And the Riddler has been done. It's been in the new, was it The Batman? That was the villain for that one. Riddler.
Perhaps
Oh,
I haven't
that's
seen that.
right. That was a...
Very different take.
Yeah, that was like the
was
dark
dark,
web version
dark.
of the Riddler.
So I don't know if you guys know, but there is talk of another Batman movie coming out. Not the join up
The
in
sequel
the
to the
DCU.
Batman.
But there's that one. There's also Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Is it a soap opera?
Right.
Well, it's in the new DCU because the Batman is not. So this new one will be in the DCU with Superman and all the other people. What
Okay.
villain do you want to see in that movie?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean,
I'm like, who haven't we seen in a while?
yeah, that's tough. I would have said the Riddler, and then you reminded me that the Batman just had one. So, I mean, I think if they were going to do it in a more silly and less scary, then I would say Riddler. Because I think, especially if they're not in the same world, they could make their own version of the Riddler that's more akin to the one that we're used to versus like this, creepy guy on the dark web, which is the one that they went with for the Batman. So that would be my pick. I was always, even growing up, like the Riddler was always my favorite villain. I just thought he was funny. He was witty. He had a whole aura. He obviously had like a very dashing wardrobe. So yeah, that was always my guy. And I feel like he was kind of underutilized, especially after this movie. You kind of didn't hear or see from him again. I would like to see like that classic version of the Riddler in a blockbuster film again.
I mean, I've always been a Penguin fan. I'm going back to even the older versions with like the umbrellas that he can use to fly up in the air and all of that. I just liked all of his gadgets. But of course, when I think about Penguin, I think about Batman Returns. And although he was disgusting and vile, I loved him. Like, it was just enjoyable to watch this complete and utter slob like eat a raw fish and bite someone's nose off. Like, it was just enjoyable. And the Penguin we have most recently is very dark, and I liked that take too. So I'm not sure how they would switch it up to have another Penguin, but I'm generally speaking always Team Penguin.
It's tough because the Joker's who you'd think of if you're trying to think of a Batman villain, but I don't want to see another Joker yet. I still like the last two Batman movie Jokers. The Joker on itself, the Joker standalone movies are their own thing, but I don't think we need another Joker. They just did Bane, but I think Bane's a good villain that was done differently. I would probably do Bane, but a different take. If anyone's read the Absolute Batman run that's somewhat current, the Bane take on that's amazing, and they could do a lot with that Bane, I suppose. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bane, even though they just had Bane in a recent Bat movie. You can take that idea and run it differently.
See, I was kind of thinking like it could be Calendar Man. Just to have a serial killer kills on certain holidays, because I think it'd be sort of fun to go through the holidays like Long Halloween, but that might be a little too dark for the current DC universe. But he's never been really used, fully. But the other one would have to be Condiment King, the guy with that fires ketchup and mustard everywhere.
Can you imagine that's the guy they pick? That is the ultimate Batman villain, is Condiment King. I'd be down.
Isn't there a villain called the Mad Hatter, or am I making that up?
Yeah, there's the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, I remember the Mad Hatter.
I feel like
That's another one that
fun.
Jim Carrey could have pulled off, actually, like that same kind of character.
Yeah. I think, other than the Riddler, I think a cool one would be Harley Quinn. Especially if you do something where it's like the Joker is a part of the backstory, but he's not prominently featured in the film.
Well, that's just Birds of Prey.
Mm.
That movie came out a few years ago.
Yeah. But those aren't Batman movies.
True.
I think it's a difference if she's playing off the Batman versus a movie about Harley, because she was also in Suicide Squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same version. But yeah, I think that's different than like a Batman film.
True, and I think what drives good Batman films are the villains. He's kind of like anyone's gonna be Batman. He sort of just is there.
You have to be brooding. That's what I like in my Batman. It has to be heavy on the brood. You can't you can be, because Bruce Wayne he's like a pretty boy millionaire, but he's also kind of an unknown character. People still have a lot of questions about him. So I feel like you have to be able to be a little mysterious and brooding.
It's because he's lonely. I mean, all he has is Alfred. So
he's very lonely.
I was gonna say, we know James Gunn listens, so take some note.
That's right.
For this one, Batman Forever, should people go out and find this movie if they've never seen it?
I would say, to Jeremy's point, like, the value of this film is seeing Carrey's Riddler. So I think if you've never seen this before, like, yeah, it's worth it. It's not something that you need to, like, drop everything and watch it this weekend. But, like, yeah, you should check this out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was funny. There was, like, a couple of one-liners that were enjoyable. And I also really liked the makeup for Two-Face. Like, how they had half of his face, like, almost like this purplish, maroonish color, and his lips were all curled up. It was entertaining.
Yeah, it is mindless, but it was enjoyable. Like, I wasn't mad that I was watching this. It was better than I remembered it being. I did watch this in mostly one sitting. I was working at the same time, so I kind of paid attention to that. But I didn't feel like I had to take a break and come back. There's been other movies, like when we did Batman and Robin, where I was like, I've got to stop this and come back later because I can't sit through this. I didn't feel that way about Batman Forever. But if you're asking me if I would tell someone, like, if you need to find one Batman movie, this is the one. No, that is not my answer at all.
If you've never seen it, it can't hurt to go watch it. But if you've seen it in the past 20 years, you probably don't need to go back.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think if you've seen it before, then you really don't need to run this back. But I would say it's worth at least seeing, just as a frame of reference.
For the Riddler alone, it's worth seeing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, final rating, guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'll give it if this is a 2-thumb situation, I'll give it a single batarang up. Yeah, like I said, it's not the worst movie, it's not the best movie, but there's enough entertainment value that it's just like okay. But I'll give it a single thumbs up.
Yeah, I think I'll mirror that sentiment. I'm gonna give it one single chest plate up for the same reason. I mean, it's good enough. I think it's much better than Batman and Robin. And as far as one-liners, I did like when Robin says, "Holy rusted metal, Batman."
Yeah.
And Batman's like, "What?" And he says, "The ground is all metal. It's full of holes, holy." And I was like, that was nice. They just threw one in there as a frame of reference to throw it back to the old version. And, they were kind of like a tongue-in-cheek moment. And I enjoyed that. So, yeah, give it a spin.
I've got a hand with a thumb on the way up and a thumb on the way down. It's one hand with two thumbs because one thumb is the good thumb and one is the bad thumb, like Two-Face. Because it's enjoyable. It's fun to watch. That's the thumb up. Is it a good movie? No. Thumbs down for a lot of things that happen. But it's well worth seeing. So it's not like a must-watch movie ever. But is it a fun Batman movie? Sure.
Well, Jeremy kind of took the one I was going to go with, but basically the same thing. It's the Two-Face of films.
Yeah, two thumbs. A lesser exciting villain.
No, that's good. That's good. It is.
He has
kind
no
of a
fingers,
Two-Face
just
movie.
two thumbs. He can't hold anything. He's not very threatening, to be honest. But.
Well, as we head out here for the night, I'm going to thank the two of you for joining us again. It's been a lot of fun.
Always.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Where can people find you, and what are you guys working on?
Our podcast is Rewind Rewatch, a 90s movie podcast where we just rewatch 90s films and discuss how well they've aged. We have a lot of fun laughing at bad movies and reminiscing on good ones.
We can also be found via email at rewindrewatch1990s@gmail.com. And we also have a Patreon where, in addition to our regular 90s films, we also cover movies from the late 80s and the early 2000s. And that's $5 a month.
And Jeremy, how about you?
Oh, you can find me here every 2 weeks watching movies with you that I sometimes enjoy, but I'm also on the Retrovaniacs podcast on the other weeks talking about old video games instead.
And for me, you can always find me at All Panel Creations. We're always over there building some piece of nerdy furniture. I want to thank you for spending some time with us today. And if you know which Riddler outfit Jeremy should be wearing, send us a note over movie-smash.com, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Oh, the white one.
Thank you again for listening. This has been Movie Smash with Chris Roberts and Jeremy Parmentier. Produced by me, Chris Roberts, and executive produced by Off Panel Creations. Movie clips provided by their respective studios. You can rate and review the show at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You might even find your review read on a future episode. Got a question for us? Visit us over at movie-smash.com and send us a note. It too could be read on a future episode. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Movie Smash wherever you listen to your fine podcasts.
I didn't want to ruin it, but I'm also wearing nothing under this shirt.